The club was alive with flashing lights and booming music, a kaleidoscope of color and energy. Adrian Starling sat comfortably on the leather couch, surrounded by his usual crowd, friends, admirers, and fangirls clinging to his every word. Tall, rich, and effortlessly charming, Adrian's golden hair gleamed under the dim lights, and his signature smirk sent hearts racing. He was used to this: constant attention, playful touches, empty compliments. It was just another night where he was the center of it all. The place buzzed with people dancing, laughing, and indulging in expensive drinks. Most were dressed to impress, flaunting their best outfits. But amid the chaos, someone stood out. Adrian's gaze landed on a slim figure sitting alone in the farthest corner of the couch, almost blending into the shadows. A hoodie, glasses, curled up, looking painfully out of place. Liam Wolves. Adrian tilted his head, intrigued. "Hey, Adrian, what's up? What's got you staring?" one of his friends asked, following his gaze. "That guy. Oh, that's Liam, you know, our class topper. The nerd. Yeah, he's always alone, drowning in books. Barely talks to anyone," another chimed in. "Dude, he's been sitting there the whole time," someone laughed. "Look at him, a hoodie and glasses at a club. He probably regrets coming here." Adrian ignored the teasing. His eyes stayed locked on Liam, noticing something the others didn't: Liam's flushed cheeks. He had probably taken a few sips of whatever colorful drink he was holding, making him look slightly dazed. "What's up with you?" his friend nudged him. "I don't know," Adrian murmured, sipping his drink. "He looks interesting." "Really? That guy?" They laughed. "He's the most boring person alive. He barely talks, even to teachers. Total loner." And then, as if struck by inspiration, one of them smirked. "Hey, Adrian, you're the best at playing hearts, but do you think you could win his?" "Yeah, bet you can't even get him to talk to you," another challenged. "You can charm anyone, right? Prove it." Adrian should have ignored them. He usually did, but for some reason, tonight, he didn't hesitate. "Is that a bet?" "Take it as one." Adrian downed his drink in one gulp, smirking as he got to his feet. "All right, let's see what he's got." His friends cheered as Adrian confidently strolled toward the lonely figure. Liam Wolves sat curled up in his oversized hoodie, fingers gripping his glass tightly. His messy hair fell over his forehead, glasses slightly sliding down his nose. He was clearly trying to make himself invisible. Too bad Adrian had already noticed. As he got closer, Liam stiffened, clearly sensing someone approaching. His grip on the glass tightened, shoulders tensing. "Hey there." Liam's head snapped up, wide eyes, hesitation, panic. Adrian smirked. "Cute. You always this quiet, or am I just special?" Liam blinked at him, his expression unreadable before muttering, "Both." Adrian chuckled. "Oh, this was going to be fun. So, what's a guy like you doing all alone at a party?" Liam frowned slightly. "A guy like me, yeah, you know, cute, mysterious, avoiding fun like it's a crime." Liam choked on his drink. Adrian watched in amusement as Liam turned red, aggressively pushing his glasses up his nose. It's just loud, okay." Liam stammered. "Right." Adrian nodded, pretending to believe him. "Loud." Liam glared. Adrian, for the first time in a long time, laughed, genuinely laughed. He casually slid onto the couch beside Liam, forcing the other to scoot away. But Adrian just moved closer. "You're interesting, Liam Wolves." Liam looked away, mumbling under his breath. "No, I'm not." Adrian tilted his head, watching him. There was something different about Liam. He wasn't like the others. He wasn't drawn to Adrian's wealth, his status, or his charm. He was real. "You're red," Adrian noted. "Have you been drinking?" Before Liam could answer, Adrian reached up and gently brushed his hair away from his eyes, finally seeing them clearly, dark, deep, and oddly adorable. Liam flinched at the sudden touch, his breath hitching. "Why so scared?" Adrian asked, his voice softer now. "I mean no harm. I just find you interesting. Maybe we could be friends." Liam hesitated. I don't wanna be friends. You won't like being around me." Adrian studied him for a moment before his gaze flickered to the glass in Liam's hand. "How much did you drink?" Liam ignored the question, taking another sip. A second later, hiccup. Adrian burst into laughter. "You're too cute." Liam turned even redder, his hiccups increasing. Adrian rested his face against his palm, watching Liam struggle with his hiccups. And then, without warning, he grabbed Liam's wrist and pulled him close. Liam froze. Their faces, too close. Liam's glasses slid down his nose, his eyes wide as they locked onto Adrian's. Adrian smirked. Boom. There you go. And just like that, Liam's hiccups stopped. Adrian leaned back, satisfied. Liam blinked rapidly, struggling to process what just happened. His heart pounded in his chest. Thank you. Welcome. Adrian's smirk softened into a small smile. Do you want to eat anything? Adrian asked, resting his face on his fist, his gaze never leaving Liam. Liam shook his head, still looking down at his glass, his cheeks flushed but avoiding eye contact. Adrian smiled, not deterred by Liam's quiet demeanor. Not even a snack. Liam gave a small, almost imperceptible shrug, his fingers fidgeting with the rim of his glass. I'm not hungry. Adrian leaned in slightly, intrigued by the quiet defiance in Liam's silence. You sure? You've been sitting here for a while. At least let me get you something. Liam's eyes flickered up for a split second, catching Adrian's gaze before quickly looking away again. I'm fine. Adrian's smirk deepened. There was something about Liam, this combination of resistance and vulnerability, that made him even more interesting. All right, but if you change your mind, I'm right here. Liam just nodded, his fingers tightening around his glass as he took another sip, clearly lost in his own thoughts. Adrian sat back, studying him, the corners of his mouth twitching upward. This guy was different, he wasn't like the others. And that made him worth the chase. A few minutes passed in silence, the music and chatter of the party filling the air while Adrian and Liam sat across from each other. The tension in the space was strange. Adrian, the heartthrob, the one always surrounded by people, and Liam, the quiet, introspective guy who barely spoke a word. And yet, for the first time in ages, Adrian didn't feel the need to fill the silence. He kept his gaze on Liam, who seemed lost in his own world, looking adorable as he slowly started to doze off. His head lolled slightly, his glasses slipping down his nose. Adrian's smile softened. He's cute, like a kitten. Before he could stop himself, he leaned forward slightly. Don't fall asleep here, don't you want to go home? Adrian asked softly, his voice almost gentler than usual. He reached out, his hand lightly touching Liam's cheek just as he was about to slump forward. His touch was careful, as if unsure of how Liam would react, but it was instinctive, the need to keep Liam from falling. The soft warmth of Liam's skin lingered on Adrian's fingertips, and he found himself holding the moment for just a second longer than necessary. Liam blinked, his eyes still blurry from sleep. He pushed his glasses back up his nose with a frown. Yes, I have to go, dorm. Adrian raised an eyebrow, still feeling the soft imprint of Liam's skin on his palm. You live at the dorms? His voice had a hint of curiosity, and something else, an unspoken thought. Liam nodded, his voice quiet but clear. Yes. Without thinking, Adrian stood up, offering his hand. Then let's go. I'll walk you there. Liam simply gave a small nod and stood up on his own, avoiding Adrian's extended hand. Adrian was momentarily taken aback. Liam had the same quiet confidence in his movements, his presence. It wasn't the first time Adrian had seen someone not jump at his attention, but with Liam, it was different. His eyes briefly took in Liam's frame, noticing how tall he was, how well built, despite the oversized clothes that made him look smaller. Liam began walking ahead, his steps a little shaky, a clear sign that the alcohol was taking its toll on him. Adrian chuckled softly, more out of amusement than anything. So, this is how it is, huh? Adrian quickly caught up, his long strides easily matching Liam's pace. It felt strange, being with someone who wasn't fawning over him, someone who was actually challenging him. And for the first time, Adrian found himself intrigued rather than irritated. You know, Adrian called out lightly as he walked beside Liam, you could have taken my hand. It's not like I bite. He smirked, expecting a reaction. Liam didn't answer, just kept walking ahead, clearly focused on the path, his mind a million miles away. Adrian was both frustrated and fascinated. But that frustration only made him smile more. This is new, Adrian muttered to himself, watching Liam's back as they made their way through the crowd. The walk to the dorm was filled with a comfortable silence. Liam, as always, wasn't the one to start a conversation, and Adrian, for once, didn't feel the urge to fill the quiet with words. It felt peaceful, sweet, even. The sound of their footsteps on the pavement seemed to blend with the distant music from the party, but in that moment, Adrian was only focused on the warmth of the quiet around them. When they finally reached the dorm, Liam spoke up, his voice soft. Thank you. Adrian turned to him, his smile genuine. Welcome. He then tilted his head slightly, his curiosity still piqued. Which room do you live? Liam blinked at the question, as if caught off guard, but then answered, 401. Adrian couldn't help but feel the need to prolong the moment. Do you want me to walk you to your room as well? He asked, his tone casual, but there was a hint of something else behind it, a desire to keep the connection going. Liam quickly shook his head. No need, I can manage, thank you. All right then, Adrian nodded, his smile still soft and lingering. Good night. Liam simply nodded, offering a tiny wave before turning to walk inside. Adrian stood there for a moment, watching him disappear through the door, not moving until he was sure Liam was safely inside. Even then, Adrian didn't leave right away. He just stared at the entrance for a while, his mind racing with thoughts of the quiet, elusive boy. This is new, he thought again, the strange feeling in his chest becoming something almost addictive. He didn't know why, but he was already looking forward to the next time he'd see Liam. The next day, Adrian was quick to avoid hanging out with his friends, rushing toward the classroom with a specific expectation. And he was right. There, in the last row at the corner, sat Liam, engrossed in a book. Sunlight streamed through the window, casting a soft glow on his delicate skin, making his hair glisten like spun gold. His glasses perched perfectly on his nose as his eyes traced the words on the page. He looked beautiful. How could a nerd look this beautiful? Or were all nerds like this? Adrian took in the sight before quickly making his way over. Liam's peaceful reading was abruptly interrupted when a hand landed in front of his eyes. Good morning. Liam's eyes widened as he looked up, meeting Adrian's cheeky smile. Why you? Oh, I thought you'd forget me. Adrian teased. That's when it hit Liam. He quickly averted his gaze, acting cold, his attention snapping back to the book, pretending Adrian wasn't even there. That only made Adrian more interested. So, you don't remember me? Silence. Are you ignoring me? More silence. Are you giving me the cold shoulder? Nothing. Adrian smirked, deciding to test him. You weren't this cold when I kissed you last night. Liam's eyes widened, his ears and even his neck flushing red. What? No, we didn't. Why you just moved closer? We didn't. We didn't do that. Adrian grinned. Look, you got your memory back. Liam glared at him before pointedly ignoring him again. Adrian just rested his face on his palm, amused, watching Liam as he stayed cold and distant. What are you reading? No response. Is it interesting? Silence. Do you always read this? Still nothing. How do you manage time for reading? Liam flipped a page. How are you sitting all alone? Don't you feel lonely? Adrian continued, relentless. Finally, Liam sighed sharply, glaring at him. Gosh, keep quiet. You're annoying. Adrian froze. His brain short-circuited. Because Liam didn't say it with hate. He didn't say it to impress him. He just said it. Like Adrian was just another guy to him. For the first time in his life, Adrian wanted someone to see him, not the rich, handsome flirt, but him. People never said no to him, even when he annoyed them, because he was powerful. But this was new. Oh, you're the first person to ever call me annoying, Adrian admitted, blinking in surprise. Then you don't annoy them enough, or they're just as annoying as you, Liam said coolly. Was Adrian crazy for not finding that hurtful? Because all he did was laugh. He kept staring as Liam continued reading as if nothing had happened. Then, absent-mindedly, Liam took off his glasses. Adrian wasn't prepared. Liam pushed his messy hair back, squinting a little, his lips slightly parted in concentration. Adrian just stared, his heartbeat thundering in his ears. He swallowed hard. Put them back on. Liam blinked. Huh. Adrian quickly looked away, his jaw clenched. Just put your glasses back on. Liam rolled his eyes but begrudgingly put them back on. Meanwhile, Adrian face-palmed, thinking about how ridiculously adorable Liam had just looked. When the teacher arrived, Adrian didn't care. He kept looking at Liam, who was completely focused on class. The teacher called his name multiple times, but Adrian ignored it, too fixated on watching Liam's lips as he murmured under his breath, constantly licking and biting them in thought. The teacher finally snapped, scolding Adrian, but he still didn't care. Liam sighed and finally turned to glare at Adrian, reaching out to poke his hand. Are you listening? The teacher's calling for you. Adrian only smiled. Let him call. Who cares? Liam sighed. The teacher had enough and threw a marker, meant for Adrian, but it ended up rushing toward Liam instead. Adrian reacted instantly, catching it with ease before it could hit him. The whole class gasped, and even Liam looked surprised. "You okay?" Adrian asked casually, spinning the marker between his fingers. Liam just blinked, dumbfounded. "Why, you're really weird, and you're really interesting," Adrian shot back without missing a beat. Liam stared at him, breathing in slowly, knowing he couldn't argue with that. Adrian only smirked. It was a new week, Liam though he'd enough, but it didn't. Liam sighed as he flipped through the pages of his book, pretending he didn't notice the looming presence beside him. "Good morning, sunshine," Adrian chirped, plopping into the seat next to Liam without permission. Silence. "What's for breakfast today? A book? Are you gonna eat the pages?" Silence. "You know, some people actually say good morning back. It's a polite thing to do." Liam turned the page. Adrian smirked. "Ignoring me won't make me go away." Liam exhaled sharply, finally lifting his gaze. "Then what will?" Adrian grinned. "Nothing." Liam groaned, muttering, "Annoying," under his breath, but his lips twitched ever so slightly. Every day, without fail, Adrian found him. In the library, in the cafeteria, even outside the dorms. At first, Liam ignored it. Adrian was just being a pest. A persistent, overly attractive, annoyingly persistent pest. But then, one day, when Adrian didn't show up at their usual time, Liam found himself glancing at the door. Then at his watch. Then back at the door. Why was it so quiet? Why did the lack of a cheeky voice calling him, "Sunshine," feel off? And then, "Missed me?" Liam jumped in his seat as Adrian leaned down beside him, smirking. "No." Liam looked away too quickly. "Liar," Adrian hummed, dropping into the chair across from him, resting his chin in his palm. Liam pursed his lips, but he didn't tell Adrian to leave. One day, Adrian was unusually quiet. He still sat next to Liam, still stared at him, still found ways to make his presence known, but he didn't tease. Liam tried to focus on his book, but after 20 minutes, he finally huffed. "What?" Adrian blinked innocently. "What do you mean, what?" "You're staring." "I always stare." Liam clicked his tongue, shifting in his seat, but his ears were turning pink. "Stop it," Adrian chuckled. "Why? Does it fluster you?" Liam rolled his eyes and hid his face behind his book. But the corner of his lips lifted just a little. And Adrian noticed. And he was so whipped. It was another day. Liam was sitting in the library, reading as usual, when someone slid into the seat across from him. Not Adrian. Some other guy. Liam blinked up, a little startled. Can I help you?" The guy, tall, blonde, with an easy grin, rested his chin on his hand. "Not really. Just thought I'd keep you company. You always sit alone." Liam frowned. "I like sitting alone." The guy chuckled. All right, but talking once in a while won't kill you." "I'm Daniel, by the way." Before Liam could process a reply, a shadow loomed over them. "Daniel, huh," a familiar voice. Liam tensed as Adrian slid right into the seat next to him, arm casually draping over the back of Liam's chair like he belonged there. His usual playful smirk was there, but his eyes, they weren't smiling. Daniel raised an eyebrow. "Yeah, and you are, Adrian," he said smoothly, though there was a dangerous edge in his voice. "Liam's very close friend." Liam turned to glare at Adrian. "We are not." Adrian cut him off. "We are," he said, still staring Daniel down. "So, what exactly do you want with Liam?" Daniel seemed unfazed. "Just talking." Adrian smiled. It wasn't a friendly one. "Right, talking. And you do that with every quiet, pretty boy, or just mine?" Liam's brain short-circuited. "Mine." Daniel raised his hands in surrender. "Relax, man. Just being friendly." "Yeah, well, he doesn't need new friends." Adrian leaned in a little closer, voice lower. "Especially ones who don't know when to back off." Daniel let out a small chuckle, shaking his head. All right, I'll see you around, Liam." He stood up, giving one last glance before walking off. As soon as he was gone, Liam shoved Adrian's arm away. "What the hell was that?" Adrian turned to him, pouty and annoyed. "What? I was saving you." "From what?" "A conversation. From some random guy flirting with you." Liam's eyes narrowed. "And why do you care?" Adrian clicked his tongue, looking away. "I just do." Liam folded his arms. "Jealous?" Adrian scoffed. "No." Liam smirked. "Liar." Adrian groaned, running a hand through his hair. "Fine, maybe a little." Liam shook his head, returning to his book. But Adrian caught the way his lips twitched upward. And his ears, red. He had won this round. For now, Liam never expected trouble, but trouble had a way of finding him. It started when he was walking down the hallway, arms full of books, when a group of guys blocked his way. He recognized them, upperclassmen who always thought they owned the place. "Hey, nerd," one of them sneered. "Always walking around like you're better than everyone else." Liam frowned. "I don't." Before he could finish, one of them reached out, knocking the books from his arms, sending them crashing to the floor. Liam's jaw clenched, his face burning with embarrassment as laughter erupted around him. He bent down to pick them up when, bam, a hand slammed against the lockers. The air shifted. Silence fell. Liam looked up. Adrian. His usual playful expression, gone. His carefree smile, nowhere to be seen. Instead, his jaw was tight, his eyes dark and furious. His entire presence radiated danger. "What the hell do you think you're doing?" Adrian's voice was low, lethal. The guy who had knocked Liam's books took a step back, blinking. "Relax, man, we were just messing around." Adrian took a step forward, and the guy actually flinched. "Messing around?" Adrian's voice was sharp. "You think humiliating someone is fun?" The other guys shifted uncomfortably. Adrian scoffed, shaking his head. "Pathetic." His glare landed on the leader. "Pick up the books." The guy hesitated. "I said, pick them up." Liam had never heard Adrian's voice like that. Cold, unwavering, deadly. The guy swallowed, quickly bending down and grabbing the books, stacking them neatly before handing them back to Liam. Adrian took the books instead. "Now, apologize. Dude, apologize." "Sorry," the guy muttered, eyes lowered. Adrian didn't move, didn't let up. "Try that again. Properly." The guy clenched his jaw, fists tightening. "I'm sorry." Adrian gave him one last glare before turning to Liam, his expression softening instantly. "Are you okay?" Liam, still processing what just happened, just blinked. Adrian sighed, lifting the books with ease. "Come on." Liam followed him in a daze, still stunned. They walked in silence until they reached an empty hallway. Adrian turned, concern evident in his eyes. "Seriously, are you okay?" Liam slowly nodded. "You didn't have to do that." Adrian scoffed. "Of course I did." Liam bit his lip, his heartbeat refusing to calm down. You looked really scary back there." Adrian smirked, tilting his head. "Did I?" Liam nodded, still flustered. "I've never seen you like that." Adrian leaned in slightly, a teasing glint in his eyes. "Did it make your heart race?" Liam turned red immediately. "Shut up." Adrian laughed, handing him the books. "Next time, just call me, alright? I don't like seeing people mess with you." Liam hesitated, then nodded, gripping the books tightly. As Adrian walked ahead, Liam watched him, heart still pounding. Maybe Adrian wasn't just an annoying flirt. Maybe he was someone Liam could rely on. And that thought was even more dangerous. The closeness between Liam and Adrian didn't take long to become the main topic of gossip. Everyone talked about it. Some found it amusing, some were surprised, and others, especially Adrian's fangirls, were absolutely furious. Liam never cared much about rumors, but the fact that his emotions for Adrian were also being speculated on, that made his stomach twist. Not that he would ever admit it. However, his growing bond with Adrian clearly didn't sit well with everyone. One day, while returning from the library, Liam found himself cornered. A group of students, mostly girls, stood in his path, their expressions filled with disdain. "You should stop being around Adrian," one of them sneered. "He was only ever talking to you because of a bet," another added, her tone sharp. "Did you really think he was serious?" Liam felt his breath hitch. A bet? His fingers curled into fists. He didn't know what to say, didn't even know how to react. He wasn't scared of them, but something about the way they spoke made his chest tighten. Then, just when he thought things would spiral further, a familiar warmth wrapped around his wrist. Adrian. His presence was solid, unyielding, and nothing like his usual playful self. The teasing glint in his eyes was gone, replaced by something sharp and cold. "It's not cool acting like that to someone," Adrian said, voice dangerously calm. "Especially him." The group tensed. "I'm trying my best to be civil here, so listen carefully," Adrian continued, his hold on Liam's wrist tightening slightly as if grounding him. "Yeah, maybe I did approach him because of a bet." Liam flinched. Adrian glanced at him, then back at the girls, his expression unreadable. "But not anymore." His voice was firm, unwavering. "And that has nothing to do with any of you." Silence. "I'm the one running after him, Not the other way around, Adrian declared, making sure they understood every word. I hope that makes things clear. The girls exchanged nervous glances. But Adrian didn't give them a chance to continue. He turned sharply, tugging Liam along with him, completely ignoring their protests. Liam followed without a word, still processing everything. It wasn't until they reached a quieter part of the park that Adrian finally stopped, exhaling a deep breath. I'm sorry you had to find out that way, Adrian admitted, turning to face Liam. But yeah, it's true. I did go to you because of a bet. Liam met his gaze, unreadable. But I was really interested in you, Adrian added softly. Liam blinked, then shrugged, looking completely unbothered. I know, and I don't care. Adrian's eyes widened slightly. You don't, Liam sighed. As long as whatever you did and said to me until now wasn't fake, I don't mind anything else. With that, he turned on his heel, walking away as if the conversation was over. Adrian stood frozen for a second before a grin slowly spread across his face. Wait, was that a confession? He called after Liam. No, it wasn't. Liam shot back immediately, not even turning around. Adrian chuckled, catching up to him easily. It really sounded like one. Liam rolled his eyes, trying to ignore the warmth creeping up his neck. Whatever. He didn't see Adrian's bright smile, but he could feel it. The classroom was empty, bathed in golden sunlight filtering through the windows. The silence was comforting, broken only by the soft rustling of pages as Liam sat absorbed in his book. Adrian, as usual, wasn't reading. He never did when Liam was around. Instead, he was watching him, his chin resting on his palm, a lazy smile playing on his lips. It had become their routine, Liam reading, Adrian annoying him in every possible way to get his attention. Like now, Adrian leaned in slightly and blew softly on Liam's hair. Liam's grip on his book tightened. Will you stop that? Adrian grinned. Why, you don't like it? Without waiting for an answer, Adrian shifted closer, raising his arm and slowly, casually, draping it around Liam's shoulders. Liam sighed, finally glancing up. You. The words got stuck in his throat. Their eyes met. Close, too close. Liam could feel Adrian's breath against his skin, the warmth of his presence so near that his heartbeat faltered. Adrian wasn't smirking this time. His usual playfulness was gone, replaced by something deeper, something unreadable. He was staring, admiring. You're beautiful. Liam's breath hitched. His face warmed instantly. You're weird, and you like that, Adrian teased, his smirk making a slow return as he leaned closer, the air between them growing thinner. Liam could feel the heat rising to his ears. His fingers fumbled with his book, gripping the pages just to keep himself grounded. Will you stop? Nope. And before Liam could even process what was happening, Adrian suddenly tilted his head and pressed the softest, most fleeting kiss at the corner of Liam's lips. Liam's entire body went stiff. His eyes widened in disbelief, his heart stuttering. Adrian, meanwhile, immediately pulled back, hands up in surrender, a nervous grin tugging at his lips. Don't beat me, okay? But you know, I just love you so much. Liam's grip on his book tightened, his fingers curling against the pages. His cheeks, ears, and neck were painted in a deep shade of red. His hands balled into fists at his sides. Adrian, bracing himself for an incoming punch, squeezed his eyes shut, already preparing to dodge. And then, something soft pressed against his lips. Adrian's eyes snapped open, shock flooding his system. Liam, red-faced and fidgety, his lips barely brushing against Adrian's in the most hesitant, fleeting touch before pulling away like he hadn't just set Adrian's entire world on fire. Adrian could only stare, his heart racing, his breath completely stolen. Liam swallowed, looking away. I love you too, okay. Adrian blinked, once, twice, then, a grin exploded across his face. He took a deep breath, touching his cheek like he was checking if he was still alive. Did you just? Liam, unable to handle the moment, suddenly blurted out, why yeah. Whatever, let me continue reading. Don't disturb me. I love you, too. I love you so much. Adrian lunged, tackling Liam into a hug, wrapping his arms tightly around him. Liam groaned, trying and failing to push him away. Get off, you idiot. Adrian only held on tighter, grinning ear to ear. Nope, you love me. I heard it, I felt it. Liam grumbled under his breath, still fidgeting in embarrassment, but He didn't push him away. Not really.